actually true for you? Welcome to Tools to Create a Better Life with myself, Glenyce Hughes. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so incredibly grateful for each and every one of you. First off, if you're watching the video, I am somewhere called the Crooked Bush in Saskatchewan, maybe half an hour or so from North Battleford. It's super cool. So if you're not watching the video, you may want to go find the video on YouTube or various places on Facebook and Instagram and all the things. And we'll put more video of other places around, like other trees, because this is, I mean, it's hard to get it all in the video. It's just so cool. So that's first. Second, hubby and I are finally on our way to the USA. Oh my goodness, it has been a September. Let me tell you, it has been a September. First off, I did a radio show a couple weeks ago about a loved one in the hospital. So that was my dad, and he is doing so much better. He has been diagnosed with Parkinson's, which is something we suspected for a while now. But his stay in the hospital got him to a neurologist, which we were waiting for. And the medication is working like magic. Oh my goodness. So grateful. He's doing better. He's at home now. I spent a couple weeks with him in Saskatoon at the hospital, and then Rodney and I spent, hubby, and I spent, I think, the last week or so at their house in Turtleford, Saskatchewan, and now we are on our way. Oh my goodness, we're so excited. So first stop, Minneapolis, where we've got a 10-day kitty sit. Yep, there we go. Can hardly wait. Anyway, what is actually true for you? Like, this is something, and as many of you know, many of you listen to, I've got so much support and kindness for my choice to no longer be a certified facilitator with Access Consciousness. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I cannot put words to the gratitude that I have for each and every one of you reaching out, and thank you. Just thank you. So what I have been looking at this past year is what is actually true for me? What is actually true for me? Of all the things that I've been saying for years and years and years, and even before studying with Access, I've studied lots of different modalities. I've taken lots of different classes. So it's really time for me to look at what is actually true for me. And one of the big ones that I would say, and I don't have all the words for it, guys, so please know that I'm still finding my way through this. But one of the big ones that I really had to look at is your point of view creates your reality. Now, I'm not saying it's not true for me. I'm just really curious about it because there's been a lot of times where I had a certain point of view and it didn't turn out that way. So it made me really look at and get curious with, is that what creates our reality? Or is it more of an energetic? Now, is there a difference between a point of view and an energetic? To me, there actually is. Because I could have the point of view that money is easy. But energetically, I could also have what I've termed the familiar energy that money is a struggle. So, for me, and I keep saying for me, because I really want you to look at this for yourself. I'm not saying you should, believe everything I say. You've really got to look at what you know to be true. And this is a process, guys. This has been, in this specific, arena in terms of no longer choosing to be a CF, it's been a year of really looking at things. But even before that, I was always looking at things. I was always curious. Now, some of those things I just didn't look at that close. And this is one of them. So your point of view creates your reality, and I would go more so. Your energy creates your reality. And that's what's true for me. That's what's true for me. Gonna say it again. And so, for some people, those might be the same thing. Point of view and energy might be the same thing. For me, they're drastically different. So, my energy always, yes, absolutely. I know what I'm creating with my energy. I know it. I know if I'm in that space of, everything's horrible and awful and this is the worst thing, and I know that I'm going to have way more of those experiences. I know I'm creating more of that. And so it isn't to me that I have to spend a lot of time clearing. And this has been a big change over the last year for me, in that I had to really get honest with that clearing, with me putting my energy into, looking at the point of view, clearing the point of view, finding another point of view to clear the point of view, I was often in that state of clearing. There's nothing wrong with clearing. It's just that often it's a distraction in my experience, for me. So I started looking at that as like, if I didn't put the energy into clearing, and I put it into choosing a different energy, I could change things like that. You can't hear me snap my fingers, but like that. Like boom, as soon as I recognized I was in that space and recognized that that wasn't the space I'd like to be in, change it. Now I've got the speed of space. Now things are changing. I'm able to shift things, and again, especially, the September, for the most part in the hospital in Saskatoon, really recognizing when I was going down into all the things, you could imagine all the things, because for a while there, it was. And so looking at that, being aware of that, not overriding it, I think nowadays a lot of times people call it bypassing it, not pretending it wasn't there, but also recognizing that my energy is going to create more of that. Now, could my energy create more illness for my dad? No, that's not what I mean at all. But my energy could certainly create my experience with that. Could create more trauma with that. And even in last week's radio show, when I talked about why I chose not to renew as a CF, it really is that. It's really the energy of it. And yes, I'm, say it like it is, be honest about it, but not go into the trauma, the upset, the intrigue, all of that, because that's just I'm gonna create more of that in my life, and I'm so not interested in that anymore. I'm so not interested. Like, what's beyond this distraction of clearing? Oh my gosh, let me tell you, for me, it's freaking magical. Like, I could probably do 16 radio shows on the magic that we created this past month with all the things that showed up that, oh my gosh, like, just amazing. And anyway, it's amazing. Just let me tell you, it's amazing. And so, again, talking about it from what's true for me, this is one, and I was actually going to do this as like a, kind of what's new type series, or where am I at now type series, but it probably isn't the best SEO for a radio show. So I will be talking each week, though, about the things that I'm looking at differently, about the way that I'm being differently, about the way that I've maybe taken some things that I've learned in the past, or talked about in the past, or thought were true in the past, that I've really dissected for me. And that's what this is all about. And this was probably one of the biggest ones. If you've been around for a while, one of my biggest tools that I talk about more than any other tool from Access Consciousness is the interesting point of view tool. And so I really had to look at that, because then I'm like, okay, but if I'm not completely on board with your point of view creates your reality, how then, for me, does interesting point of view, I have that point of view, work so well? And when I looked at that, it was like, it is an energetic change. When I'm repeating that over and over, I'm energetically shifting it. And so it could be probably any sort of shift of that energy, whatever you want to use. And that's the other thing that I want to talk about, is any of the tools that you use that work for you. And I don't mean Access Consciousness tools, I mean tools in general. Like any of the tools that you use from any modality, from your own creation, from however, doesn't matter. Please keep using them if they work for you. When they change, when they stop working, when there's something else, then, choose beyond that, of course. But really to recognize that it isn't about separating. It isn't about eliminating. It's really about being honest with ourselves. What's working, what isn't working, what's actually true for us. And how do you know what's true for you? I mean, for me, I'm going to go back, and this is probably something you'll hear me talk a lot about, but it's an energy. When I talk about something, there's an energy when it's true for me. And I'm going to talk about it as that lightness, of that expansiveness. No different when I talk about the heaviness, or like the if I go down the trauma drama and the upset and the intrigue, that's always heavier for me. That's just the way it is. Now, you may not read energy the same as I do. So you've got to look also, if this is something you're interested in, which I assume if you're still here, it's something you're interested in, you've got to look at, how do you know what's true for you? And maybe you look at something that you do know right now that is 100% true for you. How do you know it's true? What is that for you? Is it an energy? Is it a knowing? Is it a flicker? Is it a, bright sun well, there's always bright, well, not necessarily always bright sun, but you know what I mean. What is it for you, so that you can start really getting clear on all the things you'd like to get clear on in terms of what's true for you. Probably every one of us has studied multiple modalities that all say some similarities and then some are drastically different. And so how do we know what's true for us? You've got to look at what that is for you, and start off by just talking out loud to yourself and say something ridiculous that you know isn't true, and get a sense of what that is in your body, in your energy field, in your knower, however you know. Get that, build that muscle, so that when you are talking either in your head to yourself, you're talking to other people, you're taking a new class, whatever it is, that's where then you can start getting really clear when something isn't true for you. So I keep saying, for me or for you, because this is the other thing, is that all of these modalities, all of this information that's out there is from one person in particular, like not just one person, but like one person brought it and then everybody, took it and ran with it and added their own spin on it. So you may have your own spin. There might be something that's more true for you, but has some truth in other areas. So it's just a really different way to look at things, and to me it's quite a fun way, right? Because we don't have to limit it. We don't have to say, okay, this is the way it is, and it might change for me. I might totally shift that down the road. That's cool too. I actually have no problem anymore going, wow, I said that for years? Doesn't feel true to me now. Or was it ever true? And it doesn't matter. We get to change our mind. And what's so interesting is, I think it was only 2 weeks ago, I did a radio show, or it wasn't a radio show, it was a weekly video. So every Sunday, if you're on my email list, you get an email from me with a whole bunch of little bits and pieces, and one is this weekly video. And in there I was talking about how two people that I've been following, not access consciousness related, two other people, totally different, and both of them had made really big changes in their business lately. One was against Facebook ads for years and is now starting with Facebook ads. One was against social media for years and is now back to social media. And I was just talking about, like, whoa, I'm not sure I could do that. And yet I am doing that. It's just so funny to me. Like, it's totally what I'm doing, is that I'm talking about things that I could say the past 11 years while being a CF with access consciousness, but I could go beyond that. Like the past 20 plus years that I've been studying modalities, that I'm looking at it all. I'm really looking at it all. So in the coming weeks, in these shows, you will hear more from me about what is true for me, which is totally different possibly than what I've been saying. And I look forward to it. I'm excited to share this part of the journey, and all our little stops along the way. We've got so many cool places that we've got planned to stop at. So session sales are still on. You can check out the link above or below. If you don't see a link, reach out and I will get it for you. Have a great week, sweet friends. I look forward to chatting again next week.